Catherine handed me her planner that Tuesday morning. Navy leather, gold initials, smelling of the lavender perfume I bought her 23 years ago, and I saw the notation that would end our marriage. T, Riverside Inn, 3 p.m. I was looking for our family calendar. We had Grace's engagement party details somewhere, and Catherine was still sleeping after her charity gala the night before. The planner was on her nightstand. I opened it. Navy blue Smithson leather. British, expensive, the kind you buy once and keep for years. Gold initials CH embossed on the front, worn smooth from thousands of touches. The pages were cream, thick stock that whispered when I turned them, and it smelled, God, it smelled like lavender. That specific Joe Malone perfume I'd bought her for our anniversary, peony and blush suede. She wore it every day. The scent had soaked into the leather. When I opened the planner that Tuesday morning, I smelled our anniversary before I saw her betrayal. Tuesday, October 8th. T, Riverside Inn, 3 p.m. I flipped back a week. Same entry. Flipped back again. Same entry, recurring for months. Every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Riverside Inn. Who was T? I thought, therapist? Maybe she was seeing someone, dealing with empty nest. Grace had moved out last year, started medical school. Catherine had taken it hard, but then I saw it. A different page. August 14th. T, hospital retreat follow-up, 5 p.m. T had a name associated with the hospital. I checked Catherine's phone. It was charging on her nightstand, unlocked because she trusted me. Contacts list. I scrolled. Tyler Brooks, listed as TB, PT. Tyler, T. Grace's Tyler, my daughter's fiancé, the young physical therapy resident I'd mentored, the man I'd fast-tracked through our hospital program because he was talented, because he was engaged to my daughter, because I thought. The notation went back 17 weeks. 17 Tuesday afternoons, 3 p.m., Riverside Inn. I'm a cardiothoracic surgeon. I've been chief of surgery at Memorial Hospital for 8 years, 22 years total in this profession. I'm trained to control my heart rate during surgery, to keep my hands steady when someone's life depends on it, to think clearly under pressure. October 12th, 7:15 a.m., I felt my training fail me. My heart rate spiked. I monitored it. Surgeon's habit, 140, 150. I sat down on the bed. Catherine shifted in her sleep. I closed the planner, put it back exactly where I found it, went to my home office. And I tried to convince myself I was wrong. 2 hours later, we had breakfast as a family. Grace came over. She still had a key, lived 20 minutes away in her small apartment near Vanderbilt Medical School. She was in her 3rd year, already talking about pediatric surgery. My daughter, brilliant, driven, perfect. She walked into our kitchen that Tuesday morning with her engagement ring catching the morning light. Dad, Mom, the invitations came. Catherine was at the stove making scrambled eggs. I was sitting at the table with coffee I hadn't touched. Grace dropped a cream-colored envelope in front of me. I opened it. Formal cardstock, thick, textured, expensive, gold-embossed letters, Memorial Hospital, 42nd Annual Christmas Gala, December 14th, 2024, 7 p.m. Catherine's name was listed as Event Coordinator. Grace and Tyler were listed as Young Benefactors Committee. 600 guests, Dad, Grace said, sliding into the chair next to me. Mom's been planning this for months. It's going to be incredible. I looked at Catherine. She smiled at me. That same smile I'd seen for 26 years. It represents the hospital, Catherine said, setting plates down. It has to be perfect. Grace twisted her engagement ring, nervous habit she'd developed since Tyler proposed. The platinum band caught light, sent little flashes across the table. Princess cut diamond, 2 carats. Inside band engraved GH plus TB Forever 2024. Tyler had proposed 2 months ago. October would have been their 5th month engaged. May 3rd, they were getting married. Mom helped Tyler pick the ring, Grace said, noticing me looking. Didn't you, Mom? I did, Catherine said. I have good taste. Tyler has good taste, Grace corrected, laughing. You just helped. I watched Catherine's face. Nothing, no tell, no guilt, just pride in her daughter. Dad, Grace said, I need to ask you something. I looked at her. My little girl, 25 years old, third-year medical student, wanted to be a surgeon like her father, had her whole life planned out. At Thanksgiving dinner, that's 5 days away, can you give me some fatherly advice about marriage? I want you to tell Tyler and me what makes a marriage work. You and Mom have been married 26 years. You're perfect together. Perfect together. The words sat in my chest like surgical clips. Of course, sweetheart, I said. My voice didn't shake. 22 years of training. I could deliver a terminal diagnosis without my voice shaking. I could lie to my daughter with the same skill. The call came Wednesday afternoon. I was between surgeries, still in scrubs. My phone buzzed. Marianne Walker, head nurse, 62 years old, been at Memorial for 35 years, notices everything. Dr. Hayes, can you come to my office? What's wrong? Just come. I found her in the nursing station on the 3rd floor. She was holding a manila envelope. Cleaning crew found this yesterday, she said quietly, in Tyler Brooks's PT office, behind the filing cabinet. She handed me the envelope. My name was written on it in her neat handwriting. I opened it. A hospital ID badge, white plastic, Memorial Hospital logo, Catherine's smiling professional photo. Catherine Hayes, Foundation Director, blue and silver lanyard, slightly worn from daily use. Behind his filing cabinet? I said. Marianne nodded. There's no legitimate reason for Catherine to be in the PT department, Dr. Hayes, much less for her badge to be behind furniture. The badge was cool in my hand, plastic, smooth. I could hear the distant sounds of the hospital, pages overhead, footsteps, monitors beeping in patient rooms. How long has it been there? I asked. I don't know, but the cleaning crew is thorough. They would have found it within a week of it being dropped. I looked at the badge. Catherine's face smiled up at me, professional, composed, the woman I married. Thank you, Marianne. Dr. Hayes, she said carefully, I've known you for 18 years. I've worked with Catherine on fundraisers. I've watched Grace grow up. If there's anything you need. There isn't, I said. She knew. And now I knew. She knew. The donor reception was Thursday night, black tie event, 200 guests, hospital board members, major donors, philanthropists, annual event mid-October, right before we started planning the Christmas gala. I went because I had to, chief of surgery, expected to be there. Catherine went because she'd helped organize it, foundation director, her signature event. Grace went because Tyler had asked her to. They were being featured as the hospital's young leadership couple. Future of Memorial Hospital. Engaged, beautiful, perfect. I stood near the bar with a scotch I wasn't drinking. Catherine was across the room, talking to donors. She wore a black evening gown. Elegant. She'd always been elegant. Knew how to work a room. Knew how to make people feel important. Tyler was next to her, 29 years old. Tall, handsome, charming, good with people. I'd mentored him, brought him into the program 18 months ago. Fast-tracked his residency because he was talented, because he was going to be my son-in-law. Grace appeared next to me, champagne in hand. This is fun, right, Dad? Very fun. I lied. She held up her wrist. Around her neck was a delicate silver chain. Hanging from it was a small key. Tiffany, sterling silver, maybe 2 inches long. There was a tiny diamond set at the top. Look what Tyler gave me last month, she said, for our 4-month anniversary. He said I'm the key to his future. Isn't that romantic? The key caught the light, made this soft musical sound when it moved, like wind chimes made of silver. It's beautiful, I said. Across the room, Catherine laughed at something a donor said. She touched her neck, nervous habit she'd always had. And I saw it. Same key, same length chain, same diamond at the top. Catherine was wearing an identical necklace. The chain made the same soft, musical, chiming sound when she moved. Grace kept talking about wedding plans. I stopped hearing her. Tyler's hand moved, briefly. 2 seconds. He touched Catherine's lower back as they turned to greet another donor. 2 seconds, but I saw it. Surgeons see everything. We're trained to. We have to. We're trained to see what's wrong before it kills the patient. Same key. Same length chain, same diamond. Tyler had given my daughter and my wife the exact same gift. Friday afternoon, I went home early, unusual for me, but I had a headache. At least, that's what I told my staff. Catherine was out. Charity meeting, she'd texted. Home by 6. I went upstairs to our bathroom, looking for ibuprofen. Catherine kept the medicine cabinet organized. Everything had its place. Top shelf, my prescriptions. Middle shelf, shared items. Bottom shelf, hers. I opened the middle shelf, no ibuprofen. I opened her shelf, and I found an orange prescription bottle I didn't recognize. I picked it up. Standard pharmacy bottle, white child-proof cap. The label was facing away from me. I turned it. Catherine Hayes, prenatal vitamins, take 1 daily with food. Prescriber, Dr. Amanda Foster, OB/GYN, Women's Health Partners. Date prescribed September 30th, 2024. The bottle was light in my hand. I shook it. Pills rattled inside. The cap made that clicking sound when I opened it. Push and turn, childproof mechanism, prenatal vitamins. We'd agreed. After Grace, no more children. Catherine had been clear about that. 1 was enough. She wanted to focus on her career. I'd been fine with it. I was busy building my practice, building my reputation. But here they were. Prenatal vitamins, prescribed 6 weeks ago. I stood there in our bathroom, the bottle in my hand. The afternoon light coming through the window. The house completely silent. I opened my phone, pulled up our shared calendar, scrolled back through the last few months, looking for the last time Catherine and I, June 17th, 3 months ago. We hadn't been intimate in 3 months, both of us busy, long hours, separate schedules. It happens sometimes in long marriages. You drift, you reconnect eventually. We always did. But 3 months, and Catherine was pregnant. I counted backward. Prenatal vitamins prescribed September 30th. You usually start those when you find out you're pregnant, maybe a few weeks in. So conception would be late August, early September, not June 17th, not me. I stood in our bathroom holding the orange prescription bottle, and I felt something inside me go very cold. The surgical detachment I'd spent 22 years perfecting wasn't protection anymore. It was just numbness. I waited until late that night. Grace had gone home hours ago. Catherine was in our bedroom, already in bed, reading a book about hospital fundraising strategies. I walked in, closed the door, locked it. "Jonathan?" She looked up. "Everything okay?" I slid her planner across the bed. It landed face up, open to October 8th. The page with the notation. T, Riverside Inn, 3 p.m. Her face changed, not dramatically, just a small tightening around her eyes. "Who is T, Catherine?" She closed her book. "Jonathan, I found Marianne's envelope too." I pulled it from my pocket, her hospital badge. I dropped it on the bed next to the planner. "Your badge, in Tyler's office, behind the filing cabinet." She stared at the badge. "And these?" I took the prenatal vitamins from my other pocket, set them on the nightstand. The orange bottle rattled. "We agreed, no more children." "Jonathan, let me explain." "How long?" Silence. "How long?" 10 months, she whispered. 10 months. Since January. Since before Grace and Tyler got engaged in August. "The baby," I started. "The baby is yours," she said quickly. Too quickly. "Jonathan, of course it's yours. June 17th, I said. That was the last time, 3 months ago, you're taking prenatal vitamins prescribed September 30th. The timeline doesn't work, Catherine. She was crying now. Jonathan, please. Is it Tyler's? No. Is it Tyler's? Her face crumbled. It could be, I don't know. Yes or no. Please don't do this, Catherine. My voice was very calm, surgical precision. Is the baby Tyler's? She nodded, barely, just a small movement of her head. And there it was, my wife, 26 years, pregnant with my daughter's fiancé's child. You have to stay quiet, she said suddenly, desperately. Jonathan, please. Think about Grace. She has finals in December. She's stressed enough. This would destroy her. We can figure this out. The baby doesn't have to mean anything. The baby doesn't have to mean anything, I repeated. I can't. She was gasping now. Jonathan, please, for Grace. She needs to see us as stable. She needs to believe in marriage. She's about to get married. We can't. You're asking me to let our daughter marry the man you're sleeping with. It'll end, she said. Yeah, the affair will end. I'll figure out the baby. Tyler will marry Grace. Everything will be fine. We just have to stay quiet. For Grace, please, Jonathan, I'm begging you. I looked at my wife, really looked at her, and I realized I was looking at a stranger. 26 years. I'd been married to a stranger, or maybe I'd been the stranger. Maybe she was right there the whole time, and I never looked. The baby is yours, she said again, softer, trying a different approach. Jonathan, we can make this work. Think about your reputation. Think about the hospital. Think about Grace's wedding. Everything we've built. Everything we've built, I said. I picked up the planner, the badge, the prenatal vitamins. I need you to leave the bedroom, I said. Jonathan, now. She got up, wrapped herself in a robe, walked to the door. Jonathan, she said one more time, don't do anything yet. Please, just think about it. She left. I sat on the bed, alone, holding her planner. The navy leather still smelled like lavender, like our anniversary, like the perfume I'd bought her when I promised to love her forever. She said the baby was mine, but I'd already done the math, and Catherine never was good at math. Friday turned into the weekend. I went to the hospital Saturday morning, told Catherine I had surgeries. I did, 2 valve replacements, routine, but that wasn't why I went. I went because Dr. Helen Rodriguez had called me at 6 a.m. Jonathan, we need to talk. My office, 8 a.m. Helen had been chief of staff for 12 years. We'd worked together since I started at Memorial. She was fair, tough, brilliant. If Helen called an emergency meeting, you went. I found her in her office at 8. She wasn't alone. Hospital security chief was there too. Close the door, Helen said. I did. She had a laptop open on her desk. Next to it, a small black USB drive. SanDisk, 64 gigabytes. Someone had written on it in neat block letters. PT Dep, after hours, Sept Oct 2024. There was a small piece of red tape across one edge. Evidence tape. Marianne Walker filed a report Wednesday, Helen said, about Catherine's badge being found in Tyler Brooks' office. That triggered a security review. She plugged the USB drive into her laptop. It clicked into place, made that soft, mechanical whir when the drive started spinning. Jonathan, she said quietly, I'm going to show you something, and then we're going to talk about next steps. She turned the laptop toward me. Security footage, black and white, timestamp in the corner, PT department hallway. After hours, 6:47 p.m., according to the stamp. The hallway was empty. Then Catherine appeared. She was carrying her purse. She looked around, checking if anyone was watching, then used her badge to swipe into the PT therapy room. The footage jumped. Same hallway, 7:23 p.m., Catherine exiting, hair slightly messed, adjusting her blouse. Helen clicked to the next file. Different date, same pattern. Catherine arriving, swiping her badge, entering, exiting an hour later. Click another date. Same thing. How many? I asked. 31, Helen said. Between September 2nd and October 15th, Tuesday and Thursday evenings, always between 6:30 and 8 p.m., always when Tyler Brooks was working late. 31 times, my wife's badge accessing the PT department after hours. 31 separate instances, and there was no treatment reason. Catherine wasn't a patient. She had no medical need to be in the PT department. There's more, Helen said carefully. She pulled up a spreadsheet. Badge access logs cross-referenced with Catherine's calendar. Every single time she accessed that floor, her calendar said board meeting or donor dinner or charity event. But our security logs show she was here, in that building, with Tyler Brooks. Systematic, I said quietly. Yes, Helen said. This isn't casual, Jonathan. This is systematic, planned, repeated. She paused the footage on frame 31, the last one, October 15th. Catherine's hand was on Tyler's arm. He was leaning in. The body language was unmistakable. The board will need to be notified, Helen said. This is a workplace ethics issue. Catherine is director-level staff. Tyler is a resident. There are power dynamics involved. The hospital has liability. I understand. Jonathan, she said, and her voice softened, I've known you for 18 years. I've known Catherine almost as long. And Grace, I've watched that girl grow up. If you need time to figure out how to handle this... I need the footage, I said. Can you send me the files? Already done. Check your personal email. Encrypted. Thank you, Helen. She reached across the desk, squeezed my hand. I'm so sorry. I looked at the frozen image on the screen. Catherine's hand on Tyler's arm. 31 times, not once, not twice. 31 systematic planned encounters, and I'd never noticed. I went home. It was Saturday afternoon. Catherine was out, actually out this time, at her sister's house in Franklin. I'd checked her calendar. It said lunch with Sarah, 12 p.m. I went to the coat closet. Catherine had 4 winter coats. I went through each pocket. Third coat, black wool, the one she wore to the hospital retreat in July. In the inner pocket, I found a small white envelope. Hotel stationery. Inside was a key card, white plastic. Riverside Inn logo. Room number handwritten on the envelope. 312. Valid dates printed on the card. July 18th, 2024. I held the card. It was slightly bent from being in her wallet. The plastic made a soft friction sound when I turned it over in my hand. July 18th and 19th. I opened my phone, pulled up my calendar, scrolled back to July. July 18th, 20, Hospital Summer Leadership Retreat, Half Moon Bay. The retreat. I'd been there. 2-day event. Team building, strategy sessions, leadership training. Catherine had attended as foundation director. Tyler had coordinated logistics. I called the Riverside Inn, asked for guest services. Yes, this is Dr. Hayes. I'm trying to verify a reservation from July 18th. The name might be under Hayes or Harrison. One moment, sir. I waited, heard keyboard clicks. Yes, sir. Harrison, C, reservation for July 18th through 19th, 1 night, king bed, 2 guests. Thank you. I hung up. Harrison, Catherine's maiden name. Catherine Harrison. She'd used her maiden name to book a hotel room with Tyler during a hospital event. Premeditated. Planned. While I was 3 floors up in conference rooms talking about hospital strategy, Catherine was in room 312 with my daughter's fiancé. I sat down on our couch, still holding the key card. The house was quiet, too quiet, and I felt something inside me crack. Not rage, not yet, just loss. Like mourning something that was already dead, but you didn't know when it died. Monday morning, I borrowed Catherine's planner again. She was at yoga, 6:30 a.m., gone for 90 minutes. I needed to check charity meeting schedules. That's what I told myself. But really, I was looking for more evidence. I opened it to the current week, November 10th. There was a notation I'd missed before, small. In the corner of November 8th, follow-up, WHP, WHP, Women's Health Partners, Dr. Amanda Foster's practice, the OB who prescribed the prenatal vitamins. I kept flipping. Back to November 6th, and there it was, taped inside, a piece of thermal paper, an ultrasound photo. I pulled it carefully. The paper was slick, slightly waxy, the kind that curls at the edges. It smelled clean, clinical, like a doctor's office. The image was grainy, black and white, standard ultrasound format, Women's Health Partners printed at the top. Catherine Hayes listed as patient. Date, November 6th, 2024. Notation, 10 weeks, 2 days. I stared at the notation. 10 weeks, 2 days. I counted backward. Surgeon's precision. 10 weeks from November 6th, measuring in days. Conception date, approximately August 14th through 16th. I pulled up my phone calendar, scrolled to August 14th. August 14th, all-day board meeting, Nashville, 7 a.m., 7 p.m. I checked Catherine's calendar, synced to mine. August 14th, hospital retreat, follow-up meeting, Tyler coordinating, 3 to 6 p.m. August 14th, the day I was in Nashville in back-to-back board meetings making decisions about hospital policy, the day Catherine conceived a child with Tyler Brooks. 10 weeks ago, I was convincing board members we had integrity. 10 weeks ago, my wife was in room 312 at the Riverside Inn. The ultrasound photo was light in my hand, barely weighed anything, but it felt like it weighed everything. This piece of slick thermal paper, this grainy image, this was proof. The baby wasn't mine. This was Tyler's child, and Catherine had taped it inside her planner, kept it close, like it was precious. I sat there in my home office, holding the ultrasound photo, the morning light coming through the window, everything quiet except the sound of my own breathing. And I thought, the day I saved a 15-year-old's life in OR3. The day Catherine and Tyler created one in room 312. I need to pause here to say something. If you've ever done that, counted backward from an ultrasound date, calculated the exact moment your world changed while you were somewhere else, doing something noble, being the person you thought you were, just type counted in the comments. You're not alone. Neither am I. Tyler was waiting in his PT office Monday afternoon. I'd called him. Official summons from the chief of surgery. He couldn't refuse. I walked in, closed the door. Helen was waiting outside, ready to intervene if needed, though she stayed out of sight. Tyler stood up. Dr. Hayes, what can I slid the ultrasound photo across his desk. He looked at it. His face went white. Sit down, I said. He sat. I pulled out printed screenshots from the security footage, placed them on the desk one by one. 31 images, Catherine entering, Catherine exiting, both of them together, body language clear. Badge access logs show 31 visits, I said. September through mid-October, every Tuesday and Thursday evening. Your shift schedule matches perfectly. Tyler's hands were shaking. He wore a watch. Nice watch, actually. Silver, Cartier. I noticed it because it caught the light when his wrist trembled. Dr. Hayes, The baby is yours, I said. Conception date is August 14th. Catherine and I haven't been intimate since June 17th. The math is very clear. I can explain. No, I said quietly. You can't. There's no explanation that makes this acceptable. You're sleeping with your fiance's mother. You got her pregnant, and you've been doing it in our hospital, on our property, using our resources. He was crying now, full sobs, shoulders shaking. I'll resign, he gasped. I'll leave Nashville. Just don't tell Grace like this. Please, let me figure out how to... Let you what? I said. Let you lie to her the way you've been lying for 10 months. It started after the retreat, he said desperately. July. She was kind to me. She listened. She made me feel I don't care when it started. I love Grace, he said. I really do. I want to marry her. This thing with Catherine, it doesn't mean you love her, I repeated. He nodded frantically. Yes, I love Grace. I'll end it with Catherine. We can all just move forward. Grace never has to know. The wedding can... I leaned forward. You love my daughter so much that you've been sleeping with her mother for 10 months. You love her so much that you got her mother pregnant. You love her so much that you gave them both the same necklace, same key, same diamond, same lie. His face crumbled. How did you... I notice things, I said. It's my job. Dr. Hayes, please. You're going to resign, I said. Effective immediately. You'll cite personal reasons, no contest, clean separation. The ethics board will investigate regardless. Helen is filing a formal report, but you'll make it easy. And Grace? I'll handle Grace. When? That's not your concern anymore. He was still crying. Pathetic. This young man I'd mentored, trusted, welcomed into our family. I'm sorry, he whispered. I'm so sorry. I'm not the one you should apologize to. I stood up, gathered the photos, the ultrasound, everything. Tyler, I said at the door, did you ever actually love her? My daughter. He looked up at me, red eyes, wet face. I thought I did, he said, and that was somehow worse than a lie. Tuesday afternoon, I found myself in Father Eugene Murphy's office. The hospital chaplain, 68 years old, been at Memorial for 30 years, seen everything, buried colleagues, counseled families, held hands during last rites. His office was quiet, books lining the walls, cross on the wall behind his desk, window overlooking the hospital garden. Jonathan, he said, gesturing to a chair, sit, tell me. I told him everything, the planner, the badge, the necklaces, the prenatal vitamins, the security footage, the ultrasound, Tyler's confession. He listened, didn't interrupt, just listened. When I finished, he was quiet for a long time. What are you most afraid of? He finally asked. Breaking Grace's heart. No, he said gently, that's not it. Try again. I looked at him, this old priest who'd seen everything. I'm afraid, I said slowly, that once I tell her the truth, I can't go back to being the perfect father. I'm afraid of being human. I'm afraid she'll see that I failed, that I didn't protect her, that I let this happen. You didn't let this happen, Father Eugene said. I missed it for 10 months. Because you trusted them. That's not a failure. That's love. Love, I repeated bitterly. Jonathan, he said, leaning forward, you're asking me if truth is more loving than lies. I think you already know the answer. You're asking me for permission to do what terrifies you. I don't want to hurt her. You don't have a choice about that. She's going to be hurt either way. The question is, do you let her marry a man who's been lying to her for 10 months? Do you let her build her life on a foundation that's already cracked? Or do you tell her the truth and trust that she's strong enough to survive it? She's in medical school. Finals in 3 weeks. This will destroy her focus. So you wait. And she marries Tyler in May. And then what? You think the truth won't come out eventually. You think Catherine's pregnancy won't show. You think Tyler won't slip. You're not protecting Grace by staying quiet. You're just delaying the inevitable. And when it finally comes out, because it will, she'll know you knew, and she'll never trust you again. I sat there, silent. Father Eugene pulled a Bible from his shelf, old, worn. He didn't open it, just held it. You know what I tell residents when they ask me about difficult diagnoses? He said, I tell them some wounds can't be sutured. Sometimes you have to let the body heal itself. Forced closure causes infection. I looked at him sharply. That was my line. I taught that to residents during surgery. I know, he said, smiling slightly. I've heard you say it. You teach it in the OR, But Jonathan, have you ever applied it to your own life? What do you mean? You're a surgeon. You fix things. You close wounds. You make people whole. But this, Grace's heart, you can't suture this. You can't close it cleanly. All you can do is make the cut and then let her heal, even if it's messy, even if it's slow, even if it scars. I don't know if I can do that. You can, he said. You will, because you love her more than you love being perfect. I stood up. Thank you, Father. Jonathan, he said as I reached the door, when you tell her, and you will tell her, remember, you're not destroying her world. Catherine and Tyler already did that. You're just the one brave enough to show her what's real. Wednesday evening, November 24th, 4 days before Thanksgiving. I finished a surgery around 6 p.m., aortic valve replacement, successful, routine. My hands had been steady. They're always steady during surgery. After, I went to the OR observation gallery, the room above the operating theaters, glass walls. You can watch surgeries from up here. We use it for training, for teaching residents, for watching without being in the room. I sat in the dark gallery. Below me in OR3, residents were practicing laparoscopic procedures, late evening training session. The attending was correcting a second-year resident who'd made a mistake with the instrument placement. I watched them, watched the resident try again, watched her hands shake, watched the attending guide her gently. That's how you learn surgery. Make the cut. Fix what's broken, even when your hands shake, especially then. The monitors beeped steadily below, rhythmic, constant, the sound of life continuing, the sound of the hospital at night. I thought about Grace, my daughter, 25 years old, medical student, wanted to be a surgeon like her father, had her whole life planned out, 5 months from getting married, to a man who'd been sleeping with her mother, who'd gotten her mother pregnant, who'd given them both the same necklace and called it love. I thought about Thanksgiving, 2 days away, extended family coming. Grace had asked me to give fatherly advice about marriage. She wanted me to tell her and Tyler what makes a marriage work. She wanted me to lie to her in front of everyone we knew. Or I could tell her the truth, destroy her world, break her heart, ruin Thanksgiving, ruin Christmas, ruin her finals, ruin her faith in love and family and everything she thought was real. Some wounds can't be sutured. That's what I teach residents. I've said it 1,000 times during surgery, during training, during rounds. Some wounds can't be sutured. They require time, care, and courage to let them stay open until they're truly ready to heal. I'd been teaching surgery. I didn't know I was teaching life. Grace's heart was going to break, and I couldn't fix it. I couldn't suture it closed. I couldn't make it better. All I could do was witness it, be there while it happened, hold her while she fell apart, and trust, God trust, that she'd heal eventually. Below me, the resident made another mistake. The attending corrected her, gently, patiently. She tried again. That's how you learn. Make the cut. Even when your hands shake, even when you're terrified, even when you know it's going to hurt, you make the cut. I pulled out my phone, sent a text to Grace. Can you come to my office tomorrow at 3 p.m.? Important. She replied immediately. Is everything okay? I typed, yes, just need to talk. It wasn't okay, and we both knew it. Below me, the resident finally got the procedure right. The attending stepped back, let her finish, praised her. I would tell Grace tomorrow, November 27th, the day before Thanksgiving, and maybe we'd both survive. November 26th, Wednesday morning, I filed for divorce. My lawyer's office, downtown Nashville, 19th floor, view of the city I'd lived in for 30 years. The city where I'd built my career, my reputation, my family, all of it ending in a conference room with paperwork. Tennessee allows fault-based divorce, my lawyer said. His name was Richard Chen, 52, handled medical professional divorces, knew how to protect assets, knew how to move fast. Adultery is grounds. With the evidence you have, the security footage, the hotel records, the ultrasound timeline, this is straightforward. How long? 60-day waiting period minimum. Given the complexity, hospital employment, pregnancy, your daughter's situation, probably 4 to 6 months total. But we can file a restraining order today regarding Catherine's hospital access. She's already resigned as foundation director, correct? As of yesterday, I said. Helen had called me Tuesday night. Catherine had submitted her resignation letter, effective immediately. Personal reasons. No fight, no contest. She knew what was coming. And the resident? Tyler Brooks? Placed on administrative leave pending ethics board hearing. That'll be next week. He'll be terminated. Richard nodded, made notes. And you're telling your daughter today. 3 p.m. He looked at me, kind eyes. He'd handled dozens of these cases, seen families implode, seen children caught in the middle. Dr. Hayes, he said carefully, I have a daughter, 28. If I were in your position, telling her something like this, I'd want to do it in private, somewhere she feels safe, somewhere she can fall apart without witnesses. My office, I said, at the hospital, same place I told her she got into medical school. Good, he said, and after, does she have support, friends, a therapist? She has me. He nodded slowly. That'll have to be enough. I signed the papers. Divorce petition, restraining order, financial disclosures, 26 years, ending in signatures on forms. November 27th, Wednesday, 3 p.m. Grace arrived at my office exactly on time. She was wearing scrubs, navy blue, Vanderbilt Medical School logo, stethoscope around her neck. She comes straight from clinical rounds. Hey, Dad. She hugged me, tight, the way she used to when she was little. I hugged her back, held on, maybe a second too long. Sit down, sweetheart. She sat in the chair across from my desk, the same chair she'd sat in 8 years ago when I told her she'd been accepted to Vanderbilt, the same chair where we'd talked about her future, her dreams, everything she wanted to become. My office was quiet, door closed. Helen was in her office down the hall, close enough if I needed her, far enough to give us privacy. On my desk was a manila folder, evidence, everything. Grace looked at it. Dad, what's going on? You're scaring me. Gracie, I said, and my voice was already breaking. Before you open this, I need you to know, being your father is the only surgery I ever performed perfectly. She stared at me. But I failed at it anyway, I continued, and I'm so sorry. Dad, I slid the folder across the desk. She opened it. The first page was a photocopy of Catherine's planner, the entries circled in red. T, Riverside Inn, 3 p.m., 17 of them, dated. Grace's eyes scanned the page, confused. Second page, security footage, screenshots, timestamps. Catherine entering the PT department, exiting, 31 images. Third page, hotel keycard photocopy. Riverside Inn, room 312, July 18-19, 2024. Fourth page, the ultrasound photo. 10 weeks, 2 days. Date, November 6th, 2024. Conception date circled, August 14-16, 2024. Fifth page, timeline breakdown. My lawyer had prepared it. Clean, clinical, dates cross-referenced. Last intimacy with Jonathan, June 17th. Conception date, August 14-16. Conclusion, baby is not Jonathan's. Sixth page. Photo from the donor reception. Grace and Catherine, both wearing Tiffany key necklaces, identical. Tyler in the background. Grace read each page. I watched her face. Confusion, then realization starting, then denial, then... She flipped back to the ultrasound, stared at the date. She was a medical student, 3rd year, quick with numbers, good with timelines. She did the math. Her hands started shaking, surgeon's hands, like mine. She looked up at me. Dad, her voice was tiny. The baby... I nodded. She flipped back to the security footage, to the planner entries, to the hotel keycard. T, she whispered. Tyler. Yes. Mom and Tyler. Yes. For 10 months. Yes. She looked at the necklace photo. Touched her own neck. She was wearing it now. The key Tyler had given her. The key to his future. He gave you both the same one, I said quietly. Same day, September 15th. Credit card records confirm it. Her face was doing something terrible. Crumbling, like watching a building collapse in slow motion. Gracie... No, she said. Just that. No. I'm so sorry. No, no, no. She stood up, sat back down, stood up again. The folder fell. Pages scattered across my office floor. She looked at me, really looked at me, and I saw the exact moment her world ended. Dad, you're lying. I'm not. You have to be lying. I wish I was. Dad, please. And then she screamed, one primal scream. No words, just sound. Pure devastation turned into noise. The scream echoed through my office, through the door, down the hallway, through every corridor of Memorial Hospital. Everyone heard it. Everyone heard my daughter's heart break. She collapsed. Just her legs gave out. She went down. I caught her, came around the desk, caught her before she hit the floor, pulled her against me. She was sobbing, shaking, making sounds I'd never heard her make. I've got you, I said. Baby, I've got you. Why? She gasped. Why would he? I don't know. The baby. I know. I was going to marry him. I know. I trusted them. I know, sweetheart, I know. She cried for 10 minutes, maybe longer. I held her on the floor of my office, chief of surgery holding his daughter while she fell apart. My own tears were falling. I didn't try to stop them. Dad, she finally said, voice hoarse, you taught me that precision saves lives. Why didn't you teach me that love isn't precise? Why didn't you teach me that people break? Why didn't you prepare me for this? Because I didn't know, I said. I thought I could control everything. I thought, God, Gracie, I thought if I built the perfect life, if I was the perfect surgeon, the perfect father, then nothing bad would happen. But I was wrong. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I couldn't protect you from this. She pulled back, looked at me. Her face was destroyed, red, wet, but her eyes were clear. You didn't do this, she said. I should have seen it. No. Her voice was firm, medical student voice, the voice she used when presenting cases. You trusted them. That's not a failure. That's what love is supposed to look like. She stood up, shaky. I stood with her, kept my hand on her arm in case she fell again. I need to see him, she said. Grace, I need to see Tyler. Right now. Are you sure? Dad, I need to see him. She drove herself. I offered to come. She said no. Tyler lived in an apartment complex near the hospital, 20 minutes away. Grace called me 45 minutes later. It's done, she said. Her voice was flat. Dead. What happened? I threw the ring at him, hit him in the chest. Platinum and diamond. Left a mark. Gracie, he tried to explain. Said he loved me. Said it was a mistake. Said Mom seduced him. Said he was weak. Said he'd end it. Said we could still get married. What did you say? I said, you saw me? You saw me? No, you saw my mother. And when you looked at me, you were just practicing. I heard her breathing. Controlled. Too controlled. Then I left, she said, and I'm never going back. Where are you now? Sitting in my car outside his building. Come home, sweetheart. Which home, Dad? The one where Mom lives? That's not home anymore. Come to my place. I'll order pizza. We'll figure this out. Silence. Then, okay. Thanksgiving was supposed to be at our house, extended family, Catherine's sister, my brother, Grace's cousins, 20 people, turkey, all the traditions. I canceled everything Wednesday night, sent a group text. Family emergency. Thanksgiving canceled this year. Sorry for short notice. Catherine's sister called. Jonathan, what's going on? Ask Catherine, I said and hung up. My brother texted, you okay? No, I replied, but I will be. Thursday morning, Thanksgiving, I woke up at 5 a.m. Habit, couldn't sleep anyway. Grace was asleep on my couch. She'd cried herself to sleep around midnight. I'd covered her with a blanket, sat in the chair next to her for 3 hours just watching her breathe, making sure she was still alive. Around noon, she woke up. "Happy Thanksgiving," she said bitterly. "Want to go to the hospital?" I asked. She looked at me like I was insane, then understood. "The cafeteria? They're serving turkey. That's the saddest thing I've ever heard." "I know. Let's go." The hospital cafeteria at 8 p.m. on Thanksgiving was mostly empty, just us and the night shift nurses. A few residents who'd pulled holiday coverage. We got our food from the line, institutional turkey on styrofoam trays, stuffing from a box, cranberry sauce from a can, everything gray and sad under fluorescent lights. We sat at a table in the corner. The hospital was quiet. You could hear the vending machine humming, distant monitor beeps from the ICU wing down the hall. Grace picked at her food, didn't eat, just moved it around with a plastic fork. "I wanted to be like you, Dad," she said finally. "Brilliant, controlled, perfect." "Don't," I said, "and don't be like me." She looked up. "I cut people open for a living," I said, "but I never learned to open myself. Your mother got tired of living with a closed book. I don't blame her for that part. I blame her for how she left, for who she hurt. But the loneliness she felt, that's on me too. I was so busy being perfect that I forgot to be present. That doesn't excuse what she did." "No," I agreed. "It doesn't, but it explains it. I'm learning that there's a difference." Grace was crying again, quiet tears. "I wanted perfect too, and Tyler seemed perfect. Mom always said he was perfect for me. She picked him out. Her voice broke, the realization hitting fresh. "She picked him out for me and then took him for herself." I reached across the table, took her hand. "You know what the difference is between us and them, Gracie?" She shook her head. "We stayed," I said. "We're eating terrible turkey in a terrible cafeteria, and we stayed. That's not perfect, but it's real. And real is harder than perfect. Real requires courage. Perfect just requires performance." She squeezed my hand, held on tight. We sat there for another hour, didn't talk much, just sat. The fluorescent lights humming, the vending machine clicking, the sound of the hospital continuing around us. Life going on. Even when your world ends, life just keeps going. Tyler's ethics board hearing was December 3rd. I wasn't there, but Helen told me about it afterward. 45 minutes, she said. Open and shut case. The security footage, the timeline, Catherine's resignation, his own admission, terminated effective immediately. They revoked his medical license recommendation, too. He won't be able to practice in Tennessee. Where will he go? His mother lives in Kentucky. Apparently she's mortified. Called the hospital to apologize. She had no idea. And Catherine? Moved to her sister's house in Memphis, filed for separation from the divorce proceedings, and Helen paused. Jonathan, I don't know if you want to know this. Tell me. She had an abortion last week, quiet, private clinic. She didn't tell anyone, but Grace's friend Blake, his girlfriend is a nurse at that clinic. She saw Catherine's chart. I sat down heavily. Catherine had erased the baby, just made it go away without telling anyone, not me, not Tyler, not Grace, just gone. Grace needs to know, I said. Do you want me to? No, I'll tell her. I told Grace that night. We were in my apartment. She'd been staying with me since Thanksgiving. Didn't want to go back to her own place. Said it felt too lonely. Mom had an abortion, I said. No preamble, just the fact. Grace looked at me, nodded slowly. Good. Good? Yeah, good. That baby didn't ask to be born into this mess. And Mom, she couldn't have kept it. Everyone would have known. Everyone would have counted back, done the math. It would have destroyed what's left of her reputation. I thought you'd be upset. I am upset, Grace said. I'm furious, but not about the abortion, about everything else. The baby was just another consequence, another piece of evidence. It's better this way. She was right. Of course she was right. Dad, she said quietly, are you going to be okay? Eventually. Are we going to be okay? Yes, I said. We will. It'll take time, but yes. Promise? I promise. The Christmas gala was December 14th. I almost didn't go. The whole thing felt obscene. Catherine's event, her signature fundraiser, 600 guests celebrating the hospital while my family was in ruins. But Helen convinced me. You have to go, she said. If you don't, it looks like you're hiding, like you're ashamed. You didn't do anything wrong, Jonathan. You show up. You give your keynote. You show this community that integrity matters more than appearances. So I went. I asked Grace to be my date. She said yes. We arrived at the grand ballroom at 7 p.m., 600 people, black tie, orchestra, champagne, everything elegant and expensive and perfect. Catherine's chair, the one next to mine at the head table, was empty. No one had moved to fill it. Just empty. A visual statement. Everyone knew. Hospital gossip moves fast. They knew about the affair, the resignation, the divorce, the pregnancy. They knew, and they were here to see how I'd handle it. Grace wore a new dress, navy blue, simple, elegant, her hair pulled back. No necklace. She'd thrown the Tiffany key in the trash. We sat down. The hospital board members at our table were kind, careful, said things like, "We're glad you're here and you look well," and other polite lies. Dinner was served. I ate mechanically. Grace barely touched her plate. At 8:30, the hospital president introduced me. Dr. Jonathan Hayes, our chief of cardiothoracic surgery, will now share some thoughts about this year and our vision for Memorial Hospital. I stood up, walked to the podium, 600 faces looking at me, some sympathetic, some curious, some waiting to see if I'd fall apart. I looked at Grace. She was crying, but she nodded. "Go ahead, Dad." I opened my notes, then closed them. For 22 years, I said, I've stood in operating rooms and told residents some wounds can't be sutured. I was teaching surgery. I didn't know I was teaching life. 600 people went completely silent. This year has taught me that some wounds, the deepest ones, can't be fixed with precision, can't be closed cleanly, can't be stitched up and sent home to heal invisibly. I paused, looked at Grace again. Some wounds have to stay open, have to be witnessed, have to be felt fully before they can begin to heal. And that requires time, care, and courage. My voice cracked, just slightly, but I kept going. My family is healing, not perfectly, not quickly, but honestly. And I've finally learned, that honesty is the only precision that matters. Surgical precision saves lives, but emotional honesty, that saves souls. I looked directly at Grace. To my daughter Grace, who taught me that staying is braver than leaving, that broken is more beautiful than fake, that real family isn't performance. Thank you for staying. Grace stood up, just stood, tears streaming down her face. Then she walked to the stage. 600 people watched her climb the steps, walked to me, put her arms around me. "I love you, Dad," she whispered. "I love you too, baby." We stood there, hugging, on stage, in front of everyone, and then slowly people started applauding. Not polite applause, real applause, standing ovation. 600 people standing up for honesty, for brokenness, for real instead of perfect. Helen was crying in the front row, Marianne too, half the nursing staff. We weren't perfect anymore, but we were real. And real was enough. December 20th, 6 days after the gala, Grace and I went back to the OR observation gallery. Same place I'd sat 4 weeks ago when I decided to tell her the truth. Same glass walls, same view of the operating theaters below. But this time, I wasn't alone. Grace sat next to me. We watched the residents practice. Late evening training session. They were working on cardiac procedures. One of them kept making the same mistake. "She'll get it," Grace said. "Eventually." "Everyone does. Eventually." We sat in comfortable silence. The kind of silence you can only have with someone who's seen you at your worst and stayed anyway. Below us, the monitors beeped steadily, rhythmic, constant, the sound of life continuing. "Will I ever get married?" Grace asked suddenly. I thought about it. Maybe, probably, but only when you find someone who knows perfection is a surgical goal, not a relationship goal. Someone who knows you, really knows you, the broken parts too. "Did you love her?" "Mom, yeah." I was quiet for a long time. I thought I did, but I loved the idea of her, the perfect wife, the perfect family, the perfect life. I never loved the real her, and she felt it. Every day for 26 years, she felt invisible. That doesn't excuse what she did, but it explains it. I'm learning to forgive myself for that. Slowly. "I don't want to be invisible, Dad." "You never were. Not to me. I just forgot to show you. Let me spend the rest of my life showing you." She leaned her head on my shoulder. She hadn't done that since she was 12. I put my arm around her. Below us, the resident made another mistake. Started over. Tried again. "Do trees forgive, Dad?" Grace asked softly. "What? Do trees forgive? When storms break their branches, when the ground is hard, do they forgive the storm?" I thought about it. "I don't know, sweetheart, but they keep growing anyway. Even when the ground is hard, even when storms break their branches, they just keep reaching." She squeezed my hand. "We're like that, aren't we?" She said. "Yeah," I said. "We are." If you were me, if you were the parent, would you have told your daughter the truth immediately, even if it destroys her? Or would you have protected her happiness as long as possible, even knowing it's built on lies? Some of you would say truth. Some would say protect. Both of you are right. Both of you are wrong. That's what impossible choices are. Here's what I know now. Grace and I redefined what family means. Not who you're born to, not who looks perfect from the outside, but who shows up, who stays, who tells you the truth, even when lies would be easier. If you've built your own chosen family, if you've learned that real love isn't perfect, it's honest, I want to hear about it. Tell me your story in the comments. And if this story moved you, if it made you think or cry or see your own family differently, subscribe. I tell stories about the impossible choices we face when the people we love break our trust, about how we heal, how we rebuild. I'll see you in the next one. Some wounds can't be sutured. They have to be healed. Grace and I were learning that together in the observation gallery, watching life happen below us, finally learning to just be. The monitors beeped, steady, rhythmic. Grace's breathing was quiet beside me. My arm was around her, and I thought, this is what I was supposed to build all along. Not the perfect record, not the flawless reputation, not the career that everyone admired. This, just this. My daughter breathing beside me, trusting me again, healing. Together,